Hi, I'm going to be talking about wetsuits in this video, specifically from the perspective of someone with a bigger frame. I've been a loyal XCEL customer now for 10 or 15 years. A bit of background on that. When I started turning to XCEL, it was before the real advent of buying online, so it was my local shop. They stocked a range of wetsuits, one of my local shops. XCEL was one, there's a few other different ones, but I found the XCEL suits fitted me better, and at the time they did a slightly wider range of larger sizes. So instead of just doing XCEL, I think they had XL short and double XL, etc. Other suits didn't have as much variety in the higher end of the sizing. I think part of the reason for that, I may be wrong, but I think part of the reason is that they're a Hawaiian company, Hawaiian brand, and if you think of the average size body shape of a Hawaiian, it's more broad shoulders, stocky built. If you compare that to, say, Scandinavian, which is sea skins, they're more tall, thin body shape. So I think that had something to do with the XL suits being better fitting when I started buying them. So since then, I've as I say, I've been a loyal customer. Part of the reason I haven't switched, I've thought about it several times, but I haven't. I've looked at the sizing of the other brands and they don't seem to have a size that fits my body shape. So I'm 5'11". I've got quite a big chest. It's probably mid to high 40s, 45, 47 maybe, something along those lines. Waist is about 38, 40 maybe. And I've got stumpy legs as well. So it's my sizing really. I need a relatively short wetsuit, but relatively wide around the chest and stomach area. So XCEL has been the only brand that I've really gone with because of the sizing. So I'm going to go through my experience with a couple of the suits just to give you some idea of what they're like. So this was my winter suit from the last couple of years, possibly 2 years. I think I had this suit. So it's a 4mm, which is the first time I'd used a 4mm as a winter suit. So I'm in the UK. I'm in North Devon in the UK. So we get Gulf Stream, which makes the water slightly warmer than other parts of the UK. You have to look up average temperatures for winter, etc. If you want to do a comparison for where you are. But generally I'd be wearing a 5mm wetsuit in the winter. This time I thought I'd go with a 4mm. Part of that was I'd started to build up a lot of trust in the warmth of the wetsuits. I wanted more freedom of movement, especially with paddling, and the restrictedness you get with a 5mm. And I kind of got drawn into the hype about this technology, which is I think it's infrared body heat reflective technology or something. I'm not sure how much is in that really. This was a warm suit, but you know, I don't know how you could really do a comparison. It's the warmth I felt in this suit when I was in the water. It felt relatively warm. I wasn't at any point really freezing cold. But I found when I got out of the water, I found my core temperature was really down and I was cold for quite a long time afterwards, and often I'd have to go and take a hot bath just to bring my body temperature back up. But flushing wise, it didn't really flush very much. I'm not going to go through every design feature of this wetsuit. You can look that up or look at another review. It's quite easy to find. This is just more my personal experience of the suit. With this specific suit, they did the arms here, the wrists, they tried to make the wrists a bit tighter, so they've done some kind of stitching around the wrist, and both wrists of mine have gone, so they come away. It's just not really worked what they've tried to do there, but even so it's still not really flushing. So I think that was kind of something they tried to do which didn't really work, and it was almost like a pointless exercise really. And from what I can gather, I know other people that have had these suits that similar things happened. So that's one thing with these suits which was, not needed, but it didn't really make that much difference to the warmth of the suit, and it didn't really flush much through the arms after these kind of came away and started to tear a bit anyway. Regard to the seams, generally they've all held really well. This bit of tape they put over the seams has started to come away, but like I say, this is 2 or 3, I think possibly 2. I think this will be my 3rd year of use of this, possibly 4th. So you expect a bit of wear and tear, but as I say, the glued seams themselves haven't really come away. The only part where it has started to come away is at the bottom part of the chest pad there, but that is, I'm pretty certain that's from just gripping on the wax of the board as I'm paddling, and again I think that's more just where it's rubbing compared to actually having the seams physically come away. So overall I've been really pleased with this. I am still using this either side of winter, just as the water temperature starts to turn before I'm back in my 3mm. So overall it's been a great suit really. Flex wise, pretty good. Obviously it felt better being in a 4mm suit in the winter rather than a 5mm. But I don't really have a comparison between this and the other brands because, as I said, it's hard to get other suits in my kind of size, my body shape. But overall I've been really pleased with it. It's starting to come away a bit around the top here, but as I say, after 3, this is possibly the 4th season's use, this is just general wear and tear that I would expect from a wetsuit really. They're not, don't last forever, but this is still usable, and obviously this is the interior patch and that goes over the top of the chest zip, so that's not really an issue, that bit on the inside at the moment. So 4 seasons use is pretty good for a wetsuit in my experience, in my opinion. There's some of the glued bits that are coming away, so that's not the actual seam itself, that's just the bit of tape that goes over the top basically. So that's just starting to come away, but that's not really affected the quality of the suit, as in it's not flashing or anything through these where this is coming away. So yeah, overall I've been really pleased with that suit. So what happened next was I decided, after taking 1 too many hot baths after surf, that I wanted a 5mm. So I ordered this, and I ordered it online, which I'll talk about in a minute as well. But with regard to the quality of the suit, as I tried it on, I found it quite stiff. I was quite shocked by how restrictive it felt actually, and partly that may have been because I've been in a 4mm suit before. It's also, I think, because it was a brand new suit, it just felt quite stiff, but I thought I'm not going to send it back, I'm going to try it and stick with it, as I've had such good experiences with XCEL in the past. I got in the water and straight away it just started to feel a lot more free and not as restrictive as it did when I initially tried it on. So that would be one piece of advice. If you go and try one of these on in the shop and it does feel a bit stiff, it might be worth giving it a chance. Now, I don't have the comparison against other wetsuits, as I say, so I'm only speaking from my personal experience of this specific suit. So it felt quite free in the water, and from having a range of 5mm suits in the past, I've had some proper gorilla suits in the past that are really restrictive. This one has felt really good with the paddling. Obviously you still know you're in a 5mm suit, and it's not as free as the 4mm, but it's still, it doesn't feel as restrictive as some other suits that I've had in the past and different older technologies. Same as the other one, the fit's great, it doesn't really tend to flush in the neck hardly. They don't have that silly stuff around the wrist, well they do, but it seems to be slightly different than the other one. And I'm not sure if they have the same infrared body reflective technology. I'm not sure how much of that was marketing nonsense, but they've got that kind of towel material on the inside which keeps you quite warm. And so I've worn this now just over the winter, so several months, and I've noticed the fall quite quickly. So generally I'd expect a wetsuit to last at least 2, probably 3 seasons. This one, the seams are starting to come away, not just along the bottom of the chest patch here, but all the way around. It's just coming away, all over the place, which really I wouldn't expect. And I've not experienced that with XCEL suits before. Usually they're they're long lasting, and you don't start to see all that kind of these signs of wear and tear. You don't really generally see. As I say, that the other suit, that 4mm one I just talked about, is this hasn't happened. I checked that before I did this review. I checked the suit just to confirm that it wasn't coming away, and it's not, apart from that bottom area, which, as I said, I think is the wax. So I was really disappointed with that. And as I mentioned, I got this suit online, and the issue with that, if you're getting your suits online, you have to go back and forward corresponding with the online shop that you got the wetsuit from. It's time consuming. You can't talk to someone face to face. It takes longer to post and get it sorted. Whereas my experience of previously getting wetsuits in shops is, you go in there, there's much better customer service, as in they try and get it sorted really quickly. You have a rep, a wetsuit rep that can, you know, get the wetsuit either replaced or repaired relatively quickly, and I think it's a lot less time consuming than if you're trying to buy online. Also, obviously, you can go and try the suit on in the shop and see whether you like it before you actually buy it, which is one disadvantage to buying online. Once you've bought it, you can send it back once you try it on, but it's just a lot easier to do it in the shop. So in future, from now on, I'm going to be going to the shops to get my suit, so if this happens again, and get it resolved a lot more quickly. They have offered me a refund. My experience with XCEL is they deal with issues like this relatively quickly, but I've not, as I say, I've not had a suit go like this quickly ever from XCEL, so a bit disappointed with that. So what I'm going to do next, we're towards the end of the season here now, the winter here now, so I'm going to go back in the 4mm and buy another suit next winter. I'm not sure whether to go with XCEL yet. As I say, at the moment it's really tough for me to find a wetsuit that fits my frame, but I'd really like to try different technologies and have a comparison, so I might just go with the closest fit I can get, try some on, find one that fits, and then I'll have a comparison against the XCEL suits. Obviously XCEL are one of the highest costing wetsuits as well, so it'd be interesting to see what the comparison is there between the feel of the stretch. I spoke to a lot of people I know that surf that have different wetsuits and swear by them, so I might do that. That might be a follow-up review, but there will be a follow-up review of my next winter suit, so that's what I'll be doing there. So that's my wetsuit.